Dude, this has got to be one of the dumbest stories to come out of Elon Musk's involvement with our government, but I'm not surprised, and I kind of consider this to be one of the many steps Elon is taking towards his political downfall, and his inevitable use by Trump, when he has his downfall, as a fall guy. That is what I think is going to happen. All the bad shit Trump and his administration are going to do, all the bad press and negative, bad will that it's going to generate is going to get lumped on Elon on his way out. I'm not even referring to the fact that Tesla stock is cratering, though it's a good thing worth bringing up, Redux. I mean, even if it's not necessarily related to this. You see, I've been theorizing for quite some time now, by the way, that Republicans and conservatives in general are going to hard pivot to flat Earth. We have seen them go from very mild conspiracies insofar as, like, how blatantly insane they are. Like, the right-wing conspiracy theories were things like, as dumb as it was, what was it called? Like, Pizzagate. Like, Pizzagate was insane, but it wasn't super popular. It wasn't very widespread. And I don't even think it actually had, like, even 20% of Republican belief? Like, I don't even think 20% of Republicans believed in Pizzagate. Might have been well under that amount. So it was cringe, didn't reach that far. Jewish space lasers, cringe, didn't reach that far. What's Pizzagate? Pizzagate is the conspiracy theory these people made up ages ago, claiming that there was this pizza joint in Washington, D.C. with a supposed basement full of children that were, I guess, like, chained up to radiators or something and being sexually exploited by Democratic politicians. This kind of tied into this whole, like, all Democrats are pedophiles narrative they were hardcore pushing back then. All these, like, extremely rich, grody, old, like, wrinkly white men in D.C. that are, like, Republican representatives, totally not pedophiles. But Hillary Clinton, oh, that's a pedophile, apparently. That was basically the conspiracy they were pushing. And supposedly Hillary Clinton was, like, raping kids and drinking their blood in the basement of this, like, Comet Pizzas place. Is that the name? This is also where this, the idea that it's kind of a dead meme these days, but back then they would claim that cheese pizza was code for child pornography. It was a bit of a stretch. It was a little bit of a stretch, but that was a big conspiracy back then. Didn't really reach too far, though. It didn't really, like, actually reach a lot of people. I call it big, but compared to today, that's nothing. Anti-vax was a joke. Now it is the line that you must toe to be a conservative. And on top of that, we're seeing people talking about chemtrails on levels I've never, ever seen before. I'm telling you guys, flat Earth is next. In fact, when this goes out as its own video, I am curious, if you're watching this, comment down below in the comment section. I'll read the comments. I want to know, how many of you agree that within the next 3 to 4 years, the Republican Party will hardcore shift to flat Earth being part of their conspiracy lineup that they push their belief onto? They already believe the Earth is 7,000 years old. You know, let's be real. Pushing the idea that it's flat is not difficult. The one thing I think stands in the way of that, myself, is Elon Musk. Like I said, though, I think his crash out is imminent, and I think we're seeing him being set up as a fall guy for Trump, sort of a human shield from the ill will he'll get from his own supporters. So, Elon Musk has for many years highly profited off of the privatization of space. You might think back to the space race and decades past and think, man, NASA used to get shit done. I mean, they put up the ISS, they upgraded it, they used to get, like, constant shuttle launches done. We landed several missions on the moon. We did several space stations like Skylab, several Skylabs, in fact. Man, it really seems like NASA is slacking these days. I've seen that sentiment a lot over the last 6 or 7, really 8 years, and a big reason why is that through my entire lifetime and well before it, Republicans have been pushing as hard as possible to defund NASA, and start allocating those government funds towards private space companies in order to help privatize this industry. Republicans have never liked anything being publicly owned, or being owned federally by the government and paid for with tax dollars. They love everything being privatized and controlled by companies. They love monopolies as well. And so nowadays, Elon Musk, Blue Origin, and a handful of other private space companies do a lot of the work that NASA used to do, notably taking shipments and making trips up and back from the ISS, the International Space Station. And so, about 6 months ago, there was a big drama. Something big happened. Basically, I don't even think it was really a big drama. Essentially, logistically, some astronauts up on the ISS were not able to come down when originally scheduled to. It had to be delayed for 6 months so that the trip could be made. Mind you, it is SpaceX that is supposed to have made this trip because NASA has been so privatized and so defunded that they have SpaceX making a lot of these trips. SpaceX was meant to get these guys down, was not able to because they couldn't logistically pull it off and had to delay the operation for 6 months. Now Elon Musk is claiming, falsely, that this was Biden's doing, and it was done for political reasons to hurt Trump, and that now SpaceX is going to bring them down. This is also a part of the big decommissioning of the ISS, America's involvement in a space station that orbits the Earth. Elon Musk has said, screw orbiting the Earth, let's go to Mars. And knowing Elon's timetable for going to Mars, as a space lover, I am very sad that we're not going to have any Americans in space for a very long time. It's actually really sad that, like, space exploration has just been massively crippled in just a few fell swoops with this administration. But regardless, getting into it, Elon Musk has been attacking NASA, attacking the previous administration, and weaponizing these 2 astronauts who were not able to come down when scheduled as an attack against the Democrats. Here's the thing about that, though. Those astronauts are not falling for it. They know the situation. They have called him out directly, I think on Twitter, using the ISS's internet connection that it apparently has, which I guess it would. It makes sense. Yeah, like, Elon, this has got to be the closest to crashing out we've gotten from Elon so far. Take a look at this.
Elon Musk at your rescue, or maybe not.
SpaceX founder Elon Musk and European Space Agency astronaut Andreas Mogensen got into a fiery back and forth online over the 2 stranded NASA astronauts.
The online spat came in response to a remark Elon Musk made.
Mind you, by the way, they have come out and said, we're not stranded. This is like media. Oh my God. I hate that, like, under Trump, the media has actually gotten looser with the truth in order to clickbait as hard as, like, right-wing media has done, but they're not doing it in ways that actually attract people to, like, hearing the truth or hearing reasonable coverage of a situation, because they're not stranded. The only person who's called them stranded is Elon. That is Elon's talking point that the very astronauts he's referring to refute.
During an interview with Fox News earlier this week. Let's take a look.
At the President's request, or instruction, we are accelerating the return of the astronauts, which was postponed kind of to a ridiculous degree.
They got left in space.
They've been there. They were supposed to be there 8 days. They're there almost 300.
Biden.
They were yes, they were left out there for political reasons, which is not good.
Okay,
You gotta love, like, the smile Trump does after blaming Biden for something that, like, Biden had no part in.
not
good shit.
Now, if I had the weight and the pressure of doing that successfully on my shoulders, I think I'd be, but when we spoke before we did this.
I love how they're only ever taking interviews that glaze the fuck out of them. Like, every interview they take it's so blatantly just glazing. And people will get mad at you if you call it out. Are they on a green screen right now? Why is there so much whatever that is on the edges of this dude's glasses? What is happening? Is this a green screen? Where are they? Camera fuckery? Do they have their chroma key on and it's turning everything green? A weird color? Is there... No, there's like a potted plant over there that's green. What is happening with the... That is not camera fuckery. There's something going on there. This guy's a hologram, bro. It's part of the glasses frame. Oh, maybe it is actually. You're right. Yeah, it might be because you can't really see. Okay. All right. All right. Tricks of light have gotten me again.
This interview, you are very confident. You think this will be
a successful mission. It is the White House. You're not wrong.
Well, we don't want to be complacent, but we have brought astronauts back from the space station many times before, and always with success.
Yes, and it was your job to do it with these guys. Literally hampering the blame for something that logistically he couldn't pull off and had to delay onto the... Like, this is going to be their way of doing things. They have no care for the truth. They don't need the truth. The truth is inconvenient for them. Why tell it? Why not just make shit up like this? And then refuse to acknowledge the people calling you out. You know what this reminds me a lot of? It reminds me a lot of how Elon Musk needed to be the center of attention when the entire world was paying attention to those 13 kids on that soccer team in the Thai cave and the Tam Luang cave. And like they were doing these rescues, like they had these rescue divers going in, and Elon suggested that he could build, because he's such a super genius, he could build a submersible miniature rover vehicle, essentially, that could navigate through the flooded caves while also encapsulating the kids and giving them air and just letting them be in a pod where they could just be motorized out one by one because Elon could save the day. This was not possible for like a billion trillion reasons not worth wasting your breath to explain. And so one of the two, I think it was one of the two British rescue divers that recorded that GoPro video where they found the soccer team alive, and it was like, oh shit, you're all alive. Brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, I did watch the movie. It goes hard as fuck, Brian Rimlinger. Anyway, the Elon Musk called that guy a pedophile because he called Elon Musk's idea stupid. They were Australian? No, I think the two main guys were British. One of them was Australian. Maybe another two were Australian, but I know one of them was. But the two main guys were British. Rick Valanthan, I think his name was, or Dave Valanthan, and I can't remember their names. My bad. Sorry. Anyway, it just reminds me a lot of that. When Elon was calling like those rescue divers in that situation pedophiles because they didn't want to go with his stupid ass idea and give him attention. British, Australian, and New Zealander? Ah, I see. My bad.
Mm-hmm. So, as long as we're not complacent.
When are you going to launch?
I think it's about 4 weeks to bring him back.
About 4 weeks.
Oh, why do you need 4 weeks, Elon?
And we're being extremely cautious. Yeah.
You now have the go-ahead.
Yes. Well, thanks to you.
They didn't have the go-ahead with Biden.
We now have the go-ahead. Well, they didn't have the go-ahead with Biden, but it's still going to take 4 weeks. Exactly 6 months from when they delayed it for 6 months. Okay. Like, it's so blatant, bro. Like, what am I supposed to say? They're just lying.
What's that? He was going to leave him in space. I think he was going to leave him in space.
Well, it's like
Biden was going to leave him in space, guys.
He didn't want the publicity. Can you believe it?
Morgenson in 2015.
Biden was going to leave them in space because he didn't want the publicity of bringing them down. Biden and the Democrats are just so evil, they're leaving astronauts in space, guys. I really do wonder if, like, they're priming people up for, like, the mass killing of progressives. Like, is that what's coming? Like, are they going to, like, kill us all? Like, is that the plan? Is that why they're, like, so heavy-handed in their pushing of the idea that, like, every progressive supports murder or pedophilia or whatever it may be? Like, it's not just, you're progressive and that's cringe and we don't agree with you. You know, it's like you are an evil person that most agree deserves death for being progressive. That's the idea they're pushing. Yeah. Interesting. We'll see where that goes.
2014 became the first Danish citizen to fly in space, and he reposted Musk's interview on X, writing, "What a lie," and from someone who complains about lack of honesty from the mainstream media.
To which Elon Musk responded, "You are fully retarded. SpaceX could have brought them back several months ago."
I love Elon Musk, who pretends to be an astronaut for like TV shows and whatnot, and on Twitter, telling an actual astronaut that he's retarded. God.
"I offered this directly to the Biden administration, and they refused. Return was pushed back for political reasons, idiot."
Andreas Morgensen fired back, writing, "Elon, I have long admired you and what you have accomplished, especially
Stop
at SpaceX
blazing.
and Tesla."
Stop it. Stop it. God, I fucking hate the No, there's nothing to admire about Elon. He's a fucking loser. He is a little pathetic loser. Stop glazing this man, okay? There are much meaner words you can't say on YouTube that aptly describe him, okay? Stop glazing him.
"You know as well as I do that Butch and Sonny are returning with Crew 9, as has been the plan since last September. Even now you're not sending up a rescue ship to bring them home. They are returning on the Dragon capsule that has been on ISS since last September."
Spicy.
It is spicy. I wish Elon Musk wouldn't use that word to anybody. It's just, I thought we were past using that word, and it's, anyway, it is.
Nope.
He did, so there we are.
You know,
No, we're okay, to be very clear, that is basically the president using that word. We are not past using that word, and arguably that kind of shit pushed a lot of people away from the political side they needed to vote for in this election, okay? As much as I don't agree with this whole, like, the left needs to abandon the trans stuff, it's alienating to normal people. I do think that, like, getting up people's ass about saying retard, it's like, okay, now you're letting it distract you from the fact that this guy is saying horrific lies. And now we're talking about, oh, the nasty word. Stop it. Stop it. I'm going to say it more now. I'm going to make sure I say retard at least 5 times a stream now.
You know, I think I didn't know much about this until diving in and just sort of reading up on this story and researching, but like 8 to 300 days is a big gap. And the astronauts, like, you know, Morgensen mentioned, have been pretty upbeat about this.
I'm okay,
They have
Redux.
said in interviews with CNN, "We are not stranded." I have the quote here because I think it's really important. They said, "We don't feel abandoned. We don't feel stuck. We don't feel stranded. It was a little bit longer of a stay than we expected, but both of us are trained to live and work on this space station." And that sounds to me like astronauts doing their duty, being positive and not complaining, right? They're not going to go on CNN and go, "We were abandoned for political reasons." They're going to do it kind of...
Are they really going to try to say, okay, well, you see, they're lying in order to make Musk sound bad? Is that what these guys are going to try to... This is Rising, after all. Rising can be pretty annoyingly sent. Why is Rising always the most annoying parts of every political ideology munched together? Like, this guy just got triggered over the word retard, and now they're glazing Elon. Or they're about to, like, downplay or sanity wash Elon. In direct contradiction to the words of the people Elon was supposedly advocating for. How do you get such an insufferable combination of politics? You can't say retard, but also glazing Elon. Like, what an insufferable combo.
Like military officers would and say we're doing our duty.
But
I
is
think
there
that's right.
But is there any evidence that they were abandoned for political reasons? I mean, they...
Okay, this guy seems chill. Never mind. I think he's like the left-leaning guy and seems to be... Maybe not, I don't know if he's super progressive, but what he said so far is reasonable. The other guy is cringe. Is this just like the new Rising? Like, full on? This is The Hills Rising? Like what used to be hosted by Sagar and Crystal Ball back in the day? Crystal Ball. Like from Barry. No, but Crystal Ball? Like, that's this now? Is he like the progressive host and the other guy's the conservative host?
For Trump to sort of say, well, Biden left them up there, as if Biden has some vested interest in leaving astronauts on the International Space Station, seems curious to me.
Yeah, I thought that this was curious because he really needs to say what he means. Because you have to look into this and sort of make your own assumptions.
What he means is exactly what he said, because it makes the Democrats sound bad, and that is in his political interest to do, regardless of the truthfulness of his statements. Pretty straightforward, buddy.
But here's the thing. The Biden DOJ was suing Elon Musk's SpaceX for discrimination for not hiring asylees and migrants into SpaceX. They were under a federal lawsuit. The Biden White House could not cooperate or work with SpaceX.
Wasn't Elon getting mad about the idea that he shouldn't be hiring workers? SpaceX sued visas. Oh, good. It hasn't been taken down. The Justice Department sues SpaceX for discriminating against asylees and refugees in hiring. The Justice Department filed a lawsuit today against Space Exploration Technologies Corporation, SpaceX, for discriminating against asylees and refugees in hiring. The lawsuit alleges that from at least September 2018 to May 2022, SpaceX routinely discouraged asylees and refugees from applying and refused to hire or consider them because of their citizenship status in violation of the Immigration and Nationality Act, INA. In job postings and public statements over several years, SpaceX wrongly claimed that under federal regulations known as export control laws, SpaceX could hire only U.S. citizens and lawful permanent residents, sometimes referred to as green card holders. Ooh, I've heard this talking point. The idea that Elon was being sued by the Justice Department for not hiring immigrants, but then if he did do it, he would get fined for breaking the law. But that's just their legal defense. Let's see what this says. Export control laws impose no such hiring restrictions. Moreover, asylees and refugees' permission to live and work in the United States does not expire, and they stand on equal footing with U.S. citizens and lawful permanent residents under the export control laws. Under these laws, companies like SpaceX can hire asylees and refugees for the same positions they would hire U.S. citizens and lawful permanent residents. You'll never get like anyone conservative to see this as a problem because they see immigrants as subhuman and not worthy of a job position. But basically what happened here, to really consolidate this story, is that SpaceX heavily and openly discouraged and disallowed immigrants, asylum seekers, and other forms of legal immigration or legal immigrants from working lawfully at SpaceX. They are allowed to do this. It is not, it is immigrants are allowed to work at this company. It is illegal to discriminate in your hiring process on those grounds. So that is why the Justice Department is suing. SpaceX in court is trying to claim that if they hadn't been discriminatory in their hiring process, they would have broken export control laws that they claim only allow them to hire U.S. citizens. However, it's a lie that they tell, and I've heard Joe Rogan tell it as well, by the way, when in fact these laws claim no such thing. It is literally just their legal defense, and if you challenge one of these people on it and ask them, where in the export control laws does it say you can only hire American-born citizens? Where does it say that? I'm just curious. Where does it say that? They won't be able to point to it anywhere other than Elon's legal defense because that's the only place it's been said. Cool. So that's the actual story this guy is alluding to.
For something like a rescue mission or migrants, it's SpaceX. The thing, what he means, because you have to look into this and sort of make your own assumptions. But here's the thing. The Biden DOJ was suing Elon Musk's SpaceX for discrimination for not hiring asylees and migrants into SpaceX. They were under
Now you know the actual story behind that.
a federal lawsuit. The Biden White House could not cooperate or work with SpaceX for something like a rescue mission or bringing people back from the space.
Okay, let's see how much the Biden administration gave to SpaceX. How much did Biden, or actually, let's see. How much did SpaceX get from government in 2020 through 2024. Federal contracts to SpaceX doubled at the beginning of the Biden administration, going from $1.1 billion in the 2020 fiscal year to $2.2 billion in the 2021 fiscal year. The contracts continued to grow under Biden, reaching $3.7 billion during 2024 fiscal year. But hey, guys, Biden just couldn't work with SpaceX. He was just too politically motivated against Elon. He just couldn't work with them, you know? He just couldn't work with them, I guess.
Station. At the same time,
this dude's got his mouth so like gorilla gripped around Elon's dick right now.
Time that they were taking them to federal court. Incredibly bad optics, incredibly bad politics, and it makes Biden look foolish. I would think that's what he's referring.
It does if you frame it like that, and then if you lead the situation into that statement, it does.
To.
But does it make Biden look foolish if that is a regulation or a practice that you can't employ, in this case, SpaceX for that function at the time that that kind of case is going on? It appears from what the Danish guy says that the astronauts are going to get down in due course, and that the Biden administration, from what you say, is upholding a rule that you can't do both things. You can't employ the company that you're also investigating at that time.
I think that that's exactly right, and I don't know.
It's not even true, though. Like, I feel so bad. Conservatives are so slimy. I've noticed that the most popular conservative pundits that do shows like this, like Tim Pool does this big time, is they have like a 5 to 10 topic merry-go-round of issues that were like at one point really relevant, so everyone knows about it, and they've hyper-researched the topic, and they've informed themselves on conspiracies and talking points that you would have needed to have followed that topic recently. Even if it's years old, you would have had to have recently followed the topic and heard debunks of that talking point or researched it specifically in order to be able to counter what they claim. But they'll hit you with this as like a surprise gotcha point, right? Listen, fuck Destiny and all, but obviously I watched him debate Tim Pool like when he did, I think, a few months ago. And like Tim Pool brought up the Ahmaud Arbery shooting and claimed that he was like a felon there to steal just the right-wing talking point about how the murder was justified. And it's like, god damn, that story is like 5 years ago. I barely remember anything about it. But Tim Pool's just rattling off all these talking points, and I just can't help myself from pausing and live fact-checking them. I find out it's all bullshit. Destiny doesn't even know what to say because it's not something that I imagine he's looked into recently. And I've noticed they do this so frequently. Like, this guy had that talking point about how, yeah, Biden just couldn't work with SpaceX, so that's what's motivating this. And it's like, well, no. If you knew he was going to say that and try to make that talking point, you could look up some really basic points that would immediately refute it, such as how much more funding under Biden SpaceX got, or the fact that literally for the last, 4 or 5, I don't even know how many Democrat administrations, SpaceX has been contracted by Democrat administrations to do work in space. So fucking stupid. No, it's not stupid. It's dishonest. It's blatant lying is what it is.
What the Danish astronaut knows besides having experience in that realm, and I respect his expertise. But what Elon Musk is, I think, teasing here, and it's something that he just needs to show us more about what he experienced, that he reached out to the Biden White House.
When I say the term sanity washing, by the way, this is level 1 of sanity washing. The shit that Trump and Elon do. Yeah, it starts with people like this who are like, I don't agree with Elon and everything, but I think he needs to, like, all that, like, really trying to soften the blow of how bad what they did or said was. And then as you go, you get the layers of, like, eventually it's like Fox News saying, in a way, he wasn't even wrong, In a way, he wasn't even wrong. And then you find out, in a way, from like Alex Jones or even more radical right-wingers like Tim Pool, you find out in a way this is actually all the Democrats' fault. And nothing they said was wrong. It was actually extra right. It was more right than they even knew. And then the narrative goes from just the sanity washing of it's not so bad to supposedly it's all completely right and more true than it was then even initially the lie was stated to have been by said person lying, such as Trump. It's like, I've seen this cycle so many times.
And offered to help, and they declined and opted instead to keep them on there until NASA could orchestrate its own return home for them. And they work on a much slower timeline. They are not like SpaceX in terms of caliber. And you could use the word stranded, you could use the word abandoned, you could use the word delayed.
But the astronaut...
SpaceX was literally the ones meant to take them down.
Don't use those words about themselves, which is where I'm getting pausing.
They're servicemen. I think that it's really important to look at how tactful they were when they've been speaking to media. We don't feel abandoned or stranded. They're making the best of it. They literally say, we're turning this into a positive. They don't want...
He's trying so hard to glaze Elon by saying, okay, well, you got to understand, if you look at the body language of their statements, you can see they actually do blame Biden. And they do agree with Elon, even as they say publicly, no, Elon is wrong. What deep state entity is forcing them to lie, supposedly, about the guy who's taking them down from the space station, right? Why would they lie about the guy whose job it is to take them down safely to Earth from space? What motivation would they have to, like... Where is the deep state forcing people to lie about Trump and Elon? Where is it? They control the whole government. They're gutting the federal government across the board. They're ripping down the signs off of buildings in Washington. The guy on the left is not retarded, Ronnie Raymond. He's chill, but he does not know the counter to this guy's talking points, but he should be tippity-tapping away on that there HP laptop, because he could. Didn't take me long to find these points. You can just look up SpaceX federal funding, 2020 to 2024. Boom. First result. You've got your answer.
Want to be there. They wanted to be home 250 days ago.
Yeah.
But they're not. Why? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know either.
Google
the
it,
details
please. Oh my God, if you're a progressive, you need to act on the fact that you are, even if you are ideologically motivated as a progressive, you have the infinite forever buff of being on the side that is 99.9% of the time telling the truth. And so if you are taking the progressive side of things and you're confident that your side is right and something feels icky about what Elon said, feels like it might be a lie, feels like the fact these astronauts are contradicting it, and your guy who is with you, who is the conservative host of your show, is really pushing to frame this like a certain way, you have a laptop in front of you, Google it, fact check it. You have the truth on your side. It will come up if you simply Google the situation and do 5 seconds of reading. You will be able to cite your source, something that your opponent almost certainly won't be able to do because they almost certainly got their talking point from some pundit they watch. And they're not going to cite the quartering as the source of their info when you've cited, like, the Department of Justice or something. I don't know.
This case are sort of lost in the murk of exactly what was done. Elon Musk makes this claim about political interference. You referenced what that could be a reference to, which I don't personally think is as damning as Elon Musk is making it appear in that interview. He has a propensity, as we know in Doge, to make claims that are not verified at all sometimes, or wrong.
Lies.
Sometimes there was the
lies.
Thing just, a few days.
Like lies? Like literal lies? Lies, you mean? Come on. I know you're trying to not make claims that are too strong because you don't want to have to do the research to defend them. Why are progressive pundits, like, it's your job to do politics. Anytime you encounter a talking point you don't know an instant response to, you should immediately pause the situation, or at least just quickly Google it. You've encountered a gap in your knowledge that you need to fill. Fill it immediately and move on. It's that easy. I encourage you all to do this. If you encounter a gap in your knowledge, or you encounter a talking point that causes a gap in your knowledge to become apparent to you, immediately fill it. Google it. Read. And then fill that gap in your knowledge. You'll have become a stronger debater just by doing that. Why is he not Googled like what I did, you know? I don't feel like I'm asking for the world here, right? He's got a laptop in front of him. He has a career in talking politics on fucking TV. His job's to be the guy who progressively debates the conservative host. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm asking for the world here.
Days ago about the 8 billion saving that turned out to be an 8 million saving. So I think not only me, but lots of people are skeptical of kind of claims that he makes.
I am always a little skeptical of claims that he makes too. He's very cavalier. But at the end of the day, you have two different administrations, one who is very eager to hold up Elon Musk as a hero, someone who is guiding civilization in a...
Okay, here we now here he pretends like he's being reasonable. And then we have the Democrats who just saw Elon as a monster and demonized him. Here we go. Here we go.
Direction is brave. And then the Biden administration, who very much were opposed to Elon Musk personally and politically. They, intertangled the DOJ with X, and there was all this political pressure towards Elon Musk because he was getting involved in politics.
The Democrats demonize Elon. The Republicans deify him. You know, I'm such a centrist. I'm such a perfect centrist. Also, Elon, you got to understand, Elon didn't mean it when he said this. He didn't mean it when he said that. He didn't mean it when he did this. He didn't mean it when he did that. But also, the Republicans, they just deify him, and the Democrats demonize him. I'm a centrist. I take the middle ground.
And for the Biden administration to give him an opening to do something heroic and bring astronauts back wouldn't have been part of that goal. No. And I think that's worth considering, that they might have...
I love how like, conservative pundits are so slimy. They can trick you into thinking Elon had a point after the guy... Like, Elon says, we're rescuing these guys. The guys that he claims they're rescuing say, no, he's not, we were fine. Like, he's lying about us. And then this conservative pundit is slimely saying, well, you got to understand, if you look between the lines of what they said, it actually turns out they didn't really mean it when they said Elon was lying. That is how slippery they are. They have to find a way to mold the people they lied about directly, refuting their lie. I guess they thought people in space wouldn't know that they're being lied about and correct it. Responding. Now they're trying to claim what the very people they're supposedly advocating for said doesn't matter. They have to find a way to explain it all out the window. It's such blatant dishonesty. This is where we are. This is where we're at politically. This is the party and the political side that we're dealing with, that you have to contend with. They don't have an honest bone in their bodies. They do not care about being truthful or open with you. They want to troll you. They want to misinform bystanders who aren't in the know, get them on their side, and as that happens, they want you to be real salty about it. That's what that's really the cherry on top for them, is that you get upset and you feel downtrodden when this works for them. These people are some real pieces of work. They really, really are. And Elon Musk, man, I hope that this is the start of his crash out. I hope that his fall is imminent, because Trump is one thing, but Trump and Elon, God, I cannot handle them both, okay? This is getting to be too much. We need them to fall off, or we need them to have their falling out, or we need Elon to crash out and for Trump to use him as a fall guy ASAP. I'm hoping that's imminent. Like I said, if you think that's coming, if you think that's likely, comment down below. I do appreciate it. Of course, if you want to support the channel, leaving a like and a comment is the best way to do so, and it's totally free. It really does help, and I really do appreciate it, whether you do it live or when I upload these videos after the fact. Thank you. You can also subscribe and ring the bell icon to turn on all notifications so that YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload new videos in the channel. And of course, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, you can follow my social medias, linked down below in the description. And finally, if you want to support me directly, financially, you can afford it and you feel like it, and you want to help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then you guys can directly support me financially by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website to someone else, or supporting me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buying some merch. That's right, I've got custom Xander Hall merch through the Streamlabs link down below in the description. Regardless of how you support me, though, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you again.